Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I was gonna originally upload this Zack Fair theory video on Sunday, but I didn't finish editing, and I had a couple of other things I wanted to add to it. So instead of chopping up a video with me dressed differently in some points or whatever, I just decided to completely redo the video with the new points I wanted to throw in. So before I get into it, though, if y'all haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you dig my stuff, feel free to go ahead and do so. Subscribe, hit the button, click the bell for all notifications when I go live with my daily videos so y'all don't miss anything. So, with the business part aside, let's get into it. Alright, so to explain this theory I have on Zack and what the whole ending means for, like, going forward, what was it based on this whole theory I have about cyclical time loops. You got it right, cyclical time loops. Alright, so to fully explain kind of the theory I have with Zack going on right now, and based on my theory that all of this stuff is one big time loop cycling over and over again with small variations here and there, but the main planet altering things remaining in place, we have to talk real briefly about the Whispers and how the Arbiters of Fate work in this world as far as like how I feel like they work. So if you take like what they represent and what they are, making sure that everything functions and rolls along in the same way. What happened when it shows with Zack, right? What it shows with Zack already happened. So if it's cyclical time, they can't just really go say, okay, well, we'll go into this timeline and do that because it's all one timeline, right? So they had to go back in time and change that. I think the way the Harbingers work, if you look at the Whispers, okay, so you got this one big tree of knowledge, right? And off of that tree, you know how trees work and plants work, they have many different offshoots of roots and stuff that handle different things and go different places. So like, I think one bunch of roots, with the root caps being Whispers, the little root caps being Whispers, exist at different points of time or whatever. Even though those points of time have already finished, people can't time travel. They're not time traveling. Those things exist in that time always until the reset of time, basically. So follow along with me. Follow along. So once the jig is up, okay, so now getting to chapter 18. Once the jig is up and they all scream, they come flying off of the Shinra building, they are under Sephiroth's control at that point, but the planet realizes at that point what is going on, right? The planet realizes that Sephiroth has been using them. Like, the Harbingers of Fate are also kind of like stewards of time, right? They kind of make sure that everything in time stays intact or whatever. So they can go back and access different points in time, almost like just looking up data files, looking up old data files. That's kind of what it is to them. Like, it's just looking up old data, and maybe reworking some things. So when the planet realizes that Sephiroth has manipulated them, it's manipulated everybody, it puts a plan, a last-ditch effort. It's like, okay, we're had. I'm about to check out. Like the Arbiters of Fate, or like, we're about to check out. Okay, we're about to be beaten. We now know that we have lost all control of this situation. Sephiroth has taken all the control. We need backup plan. We need an emergency escape route. So they access those routes that exist in Zack's timeline, right? Like, okay, this is our ace in the hole. Sephiroth knows Zack is dead, right? Sephiroth knows this. So when they're all rushing towards Sephiroth to make that wall to enter the Crossroads of Fate, a group of Whispers rush over the party, right? They rush over everybody. And in particular, when this happens, it shows everybody hold their heads or whatever. I don't think everybody sees this vision. I think everybody's kind of like hiding themselves because they can all see the Whispers now, right? They're hiding from this rush coming. But one of them is shown something. When it shows the Zack flashback, that is the Whispers showing what they are currently doing, and they're showing it only to Aerith. They're only showing it to Aerith, right? The other members of the party can't know because Aerith is the most popular, I always say most popular. Aerith is the most important character in the story, so they're showing her. They're trusting Aerith. Aerith is their last hope, basically, to fix things. to get things in the right way, because the planet's been talking to her the whole time, you know? So, Sephiroth has been absorbing, manipulating, and stealing knowledge from the planet the whole time. The planet has willingly been giving Aerith the knowledge. So there's a difference there. So they're trusting her here at the end of the game once the other person they've been communicating with has betrayed them. So Aerith sees the flashback, right? She sees the flashback of Zack and his fateful encounter from Crisis Core with Shinra's troops before they get to Midgar. Okay. What do we see in this scene? Okay, we see Zack, being Zack, a little bit cockier than we remember, or whatever, a little more, yeah, man, the price of freedom is steep. The price of freedom is steep from Crisis Core, and now he's like, man, the price of freedom sure is steep, bro. But anyway, so what do we see in this scene? Okay, we see the Whispers, right? But from the game, anytime the Whispers have been like intervening to keep someone in line, they don't intervene with the stuff around them. They intervene with them directly, right? When they wanted Aerith to not leave so Cloud can meet her, they're messing with her directly. They're not causing a traffic jam and making her go back. And also, they're messing with her directly, right? So when anytime they've, trying to been messing with Avalanche, like, no, Cloud's got to go on this journey. I think it was chapter 5 when they attacked Avalanche in the slums. They got Jessie to twist her ankle so that Jessie couldn't go, so that Cloud had to go. Cloud had to go on that bombing run so that he could fall and meet Aerith, right? Or when they attacked the Sector 5 reactor. So anytime they've intervened with people directly, when Sephiroth stabs Barret, they're all going after Genovaroth what are you doing, I think that's when the planet starts to figure out, whoa, this guy is not on our team, this Genova or whatever, and I think that's when the planet starts to figure it out. And then they go in and heal Barret and bring him back. Like, I think that's when the planet starts to figure out what's going on. So anyway, what we see is not Zack being messed with by the Whispers. We see the Whispers messing with the Shinra troops. Why do they show it that way? Because the Whispers are messing with the Shinra troops to give Zack an advantage in this fight. That didn't happen before. That never happened. And the planet is showing the beginning when Zack runs in charging in. The planet shows Aerith. Just has enough time before Sephiroth calls them all back into this wall that he can cut open. Just takes a brief moment to show Aerith, look, we're trying to change this. We're trusting you with this knowledge real quick. Please be ready. We're only telling you. Sephiroth can't know. We're only telling you. Alright? And to discuss the bag of chips real quick, because I know everybody wants to talk about the bag of chips and stamp. I think what that symbolizes is, I think it's just an artistic and creative way to show change. Like, hey, this is changing. So in order to change that, some other small things would have had to been changed or whatever. I think it's just an artistic way of showing change is happening. You know what I mean? I don't think it goes much deeper than that. I think it's just a creative way for them to show here comes some change. Okay, so Sephiroth cuts open the Crossroads of Destiny, goes in, looks at Cloud with those bedroom eyes and says, I'm waiting. So that happens. They go in, they do battle every time, we've covered that. The different visions they see, those possible futures being erased and all that other kind of stuff. I also think that's the planet communicating with them, saying, look, this is the way it was supposed to go. You all now are our last hope. You all have to pick up and fix and go through and do this stuff. They're showing the party visions. At the end, they're like, okay, we have to trust all of them. We have to trust all these people to get this done. So they're showing everybody little visions here and there. Barret gets a vision. Tifa, Cloud, Red 13, they all get visions during this thing. So, okay, it's all said and done. They're beaten. We're treated with the scene where Zack is like, was that all of them? That is the planet telling Aerith what has happened. She now knows Zack made it, right? Because in that last scene, we don't see any more whispers, right? They've been dealt with. The tree has been cut down. The roots are dead, you know? The last thing we see of the whispers in his timeline is the explosion from right there in Midgar. That explosion comes from Midgar because that explosion is felt all throughout time and space because the whispers have been done away with. Because nobody ever knew about the whispers before. Sephiroth knew about them. He learned of them. He started manipulating them. That's why they're present now. Before, they were just the cries of the planet from OG Final Fantasy VII. Whenever the planet was in trouble, you would hear the cries of the planet. People that could hear it. You know, not everybody could hear that either. So now they have taken more of an adversarial role in this game because they're fighting against change. So they show Aerith. I don't think the rest of the party sees the stuff with Zack. I think only Aerith sees it. Because they would have all talked about it. They would have all been like, who was that? What was that? What went down there? And Tifa would remember Zack. Tifa would absolutely remember Zack from Nibelheim. So there's that. I think Aerith is the only one that sees that vision of Zack. So it messes with her, right? In the ending, when we see Zack carrying Cloud past Aerith and Cloud as they're sitting there in the present, I really feel like that's just an artistic way of showing they came that path after their encounter with Shinra. Like, okay, so you've got the characters positioned in a way where Zack passes where Aerith was standing, and Comatose Cloud passes where regular, like current Cloud is standing. That's the exact path they came after the switch in time, right? So now, Cloud and Zack, obviously Cloud survived. His fate may not have changed that much. Zack's obviously did. So, and the way I feel like this works in time, like current time of the story, I think when you start the game Final Fantasy VII Remake, Zack is alive in that world somewhere. This is just showing you, because if everything's cyclical, they changed it. It has already happened. It is there. You understand? It's all more linear than people are thinking, I believe. So when you start Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud jumps off the train, and Aerith has those visions by the broken Mako pipe and all that kind of stuff. Zack is out there in the world somewhere. He is currently there. It didn't just change right there at the end of the game. Like, at the end of the game is when the planet was like, oh, let's go back and change this. So now it's been that way the whole time. See what I'm saying? The planet is all powerful, but being manipulated. So that's possible. That is possible. So when what's happening with Cloud and Aerith there in that last scene, Aerith, she now knows that Zack made it, and she feels his presence there. She's like, this is where he came. That's why Aerith is so kind of like, once you get in, like, to fight the Arbiters of Fate, she's a little different, right? She's a little more serious, a little more distant. Of course, the whole thing going on with the planet, that's happening, that's a thing. But she's thinking about Zack. You know, she's just thinking about Zack now, and she can't stop thinking about him. She's like, oh, he's alive. He's out there somewhere. I have to find him. You know, she's in love with Zack. She's always been in love with Zack. That's her man, and Zack loved her. You know, he wanted to get back to see Aerith, and he couldn't make it back. Now he did. What happened? She's like, what happened? Where'd he go? You know, something bad happened to him, whatever. And then Cloud looks that way in that scene at the end as Comatose Cloud is being carried by where he was there, because he feels like he's been there. He's like, this is strange. This is like deja vu. I feel like I've been here. He's got this look. He's got a distant look on his eyes too. But he doesn't remember that. And at the end of the game, Aerith's the one that hangs back, and she makes another reference about missing the steel sky and all that kind of stuff. The whole boundless, terrifying freedom she keeps talking about. So that is kind of like hearkening back to some of the conversations she had with Zack and Crisis Core. So she's thinking about Zack. She really is. So that brings up the question, where is Zack? Where is he? Okay, so I think just as Cloud was reacquired, Cloud and Zack were reacquired at the same time, right? In my other theory video, I explained that, you know, Cloud was going to be disposed of by Hojo. He was probably going to be disposed so that they could harvest his cells and stuff like that, because I do believe, if you haven't watched that whole video, go back and watch it. It's a pretty good one. Talk about how Cloud could be like a You can watch that other video, talk about that. Cloud, in my theory, escaped just on instinct alone, most likely, when they went to dispose of him and harvest his body for cellular data or whatever. Zack is either one of two things right now. He is holed up in a bunker, in a cell, underneath Midgar or in another facility that Hojo runs. And it could be that one that they fell into underneath Sector 7. Because when they were pushing into that hole, right? They were pushing into that hole to find what was in there. The Whispers rushed them, right? The Whispers rushed them and take them out of there, right? Because that is, in my opinion, that is the some of the tanks that Cloud was being held in. Because Cloud has that flashback of him like creepily being activated, right? So what if Zack is currently in there? What if Zack is currently in there? And the Whispers, their ace in the hole, right? Their ace in the hole is that Sephiroth and all them and the party and all them, Cloud is not supposed to know about this yet. They vamoose. Now, that does have holes in it, right? So if Shinra has him, why doesn't Sephiroth know about it? He would know about it. Again, just a theory. If there would be certain ways to hide that, and I haven't gone that in depth with it, and I don't have 45 minutes to explain that one. The other theory is, and this is probably more plausible, right? So Zack could have at one time been in that holding tank. This is the one I'm kind of leaning toward because I can't fully explain why he would still be in there. There could have been evidence that Zack was in there, right? And then the Whispers want to keep him out, or keep them out. But he, like Cloud, escaped. He got away, right? Before he could be categorized and all this kind of stuff, but they messed with his head. So Cloud can't remember stuff. Other people can't, that kind of thing. They're tinkering with your brain. You can't remember things, right? So it's easy to explain as Zack doesn't have memories. He's sitting on a beach in Costa del Sol somewhere, feeling like he's missing something, but not really caring because he's soaking it up, So, I mean, you may run into Zack in Game 2, just like when you get to Costa del Sol or just chilling somewhere. Maybe he's at Fort Condor helping fight the good fight. Or maybe he's like chilling somewhere else. Maybe he moved to Coral, started mining, Or maybe he went back to Medeal. Maybe he's in Medeal. Maybe he's in Medeal chilling with the folks. If I had to pick one, I would say he's probably laying low in Medeal with his folks chilling out. And you would find that out before you get to Cosmo Canyon, so that might be a Game 2 thing. You come to Medeal before you get to Cosmo Canyon. That's my theory on Zack. At the end of the game, where Aerith, she's real distant at the end of the game, and especially that final cutscene. But like I said, it's likely because she knows, A, she doesn't want to leave Midgar, right? She's afraid of leaving Midgar, and now she knows that Zack's alive out there somewhere. So I feel like if they wanted to pull that off in this cyclical time loop theory that I have right now, that would be the way to do it. And I feel like it might be along those lines of the direction they're going. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you all thought about that. My next couple of videos, I've got one planned talking about, well, you'll see. You'll see. I'll leave it a surprise, let you all think about. Tomorrow's video will be an interesting kind of like, I don't know, big theory video. You know what I mean? It's going to be a trippy one. It'll be a trippy one tomorrow. So anyway, if y'all like that, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for all notifications when I got other stuff going up. Thank you all so much for the support. If you like the video, throw a like on there, share it around on social media, tell people about the channel. I appreciate all the support. So you all have a great day. Have a great night. Keep rocking. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And I'll catch you all next time.